what's going on, okay, currently right now with the SEC case against Ripple. We have a bunch of notes here, but bring everybody up to date on what's going on right now with the lawsuit.
Well, right now we're waiting on a couple big decisions from the judge. There's a decision, a motion to strike Ripple's fair notice defense, and a motion, the most important motion, I believe, because I think the fair notice one's going to be an easy one for them to decide. It is the internal documents at the SEC, their documents on Bitcoin, their documents on Ethereum. There's even a document dated 2018, June 13th, 2018, on evaluating XRP and whether it's a security, and the SEC has refused to turn any of these documents over. They're claiming they're privileged, and they're claiming they're privileged, Pat, even though they claim that they've never made an official declaration on Bitcoin or Ethereum. They've actually rescinded Bill Hinman's speech on June 14th, 2018, where he said, look, Ether's no longer a security, Bitcoin's not a security. They've all walked away from that, and so that's why this case is so important. If the SEC's successful, I can guarantee you Gary Gensler is coming after Ether potentially, and not so much Bitcoin, but every other altcoin.
So there's three audiences you're talking to today. So I just want to kind of give you this perspective so you know as you're communicating. The typical audience you talk to, they're all crypto community. So when you drop in names and all this stuff, they know, right? Yeah. So when you drop in verbiage, they know. When you're saying certain things, they know. Today's community is consisted of those who are XRP, Ripple, which you're very comfortable talking to them. Number two, it's the community on the crypto side that don't own XRP, but they own Bitcoin and Ethereum. And they're concerned about what's going to happen with you because, not you, they're concerned what's going to happen with this case because we know Gary is hired and appointed, I think, February 3rd of this year by Kamala and Biden as the SEC chair. And he used to be the Commodity Futures Trade Commission under Obama before. And then prior to that, he was under Clinton. So he's a full-blown Democrat. Absolutely. They know it. And we know Kamala, Biden, one of the game plans that they had is there was a couple things that we're not comfortable about is why they brought Gary in. Gary is not a fan of SPACs. They're trying to a little overregulate SPACs. You're aware of that because last year there was about $100 billion of money raised for SPACs the last 24 months. So SPACs are on the up and come. They've been around for a while, but it's been a lot of momentum lately. And the other thing they're worried that they cannot regulate is why they brought Gary in is cryptocurrency. They would like to figure out a way to make crypto a security because if they do, they can now control it. They can now, regulate it. They can do a lot of different things. So for the audience that has no clue what's going on, okay, no clue what's going on, let's go through your initial passion on why you, as a former Marine lawyer who's extremely skeptical, why did you all of a sudden say, look, man, I want to see what's going on here with crypto. This is kind of interesting to me. What was appealing to you?
All right, well, first thing I did what a lot of people do. I read the Bitcoin white paper.
Okay.
Fell in love with the concept of cryptocurrency, bought Bitcoin, bought Ethereum, bought XRP, and just sort of went a firm believer. I think you said in an episode, 40% of all U.S. dollars printed in the last, year?
Yep, 18 months.
It's staggering. Yep. And so looking at it as an alternative, a hedge on inflation, or just an alternative to fiat currency that's being debased every day, right? So that's what got me involved. What got me involved in this suit, Pat, was I'm just an investor. I'm not a securities lawyer, believe it or not. I'm actually amicus counsel in the biggest securities case since 1946, and I've been practicing securities law for about 9 months, right? But when I read the complaint as an XRP holder, I learned that the case was filed. I was expecting to see what you always see in these securities cases, that the SEC would say, you know what, Brad Garlinghouse, you know what, Ripple, when you sold XRP in 2013 to 2015 on this specific transaction on that specific day, that was an unregistered security. And that's what I expected. First paragraph, XRP itself is a digital asset security, and it's an unregistered security from the very beginning of time until today. So according to the SEC, including the secondary market, Pat, if I go right now and I buy XRP from Uphold and I don't have any idea of Ripple, they're saying that's an unregistered security. And so it's something very different. They're attacking.
They're trying to set a precedent against the
token itself.
Yeah.
And the case, the seminal case that they go off is this case called Howey from the Supreme Court in 1946. It involved orange groves. And the SEC never said, or the Supreme Court never said, the oranges are the securities. They said the scheme and the marketing and the packaging, the way that the company sold it, that was an unregistered securities offering. They didn't say the tracts of land were the security. They didn't say the oranges were the security. The underlying instrument, Pat, is never the security. It's the way you offer it and package it. But in this particular case, they went after the token. And Pat, for 8 years, it was sold in the United States and worldwide, 200 exchanges. They allowed Ripple to purchase 9% of MoneyGram. They had a settlement with FinCEN in 2015 where they called it digital convertible virtual currency. This was being allowed to go on and on and on. And all of a sudden, the former SEC chairman, Jay Clayton, on his last day, as he's walking out the door, slaps this lawsuit, the most significant SEC enforcement action, in my opinion, in modern history in a non-fraud case, and goes after the token. And there's so many conflicts of interest that we're going to get into. Jay Clayton was just on TV today on CNBC, and they asked him again, what about these conflicts that everyone is calling you out on? And he's like, I'm not going to talk about it because it's pending litigation. There's no pending litigation over your ethics, right? But he refuses to answer these questions, stuff we're going to get into.
Yeah. So and by the way, the current the case against SEC, doesn't XRP have like some of the most incredible team right now? The former SEC chairman is one of their representatives. Who do they have on their team right now? Who's Ripple have on their team right now?
It's outstanding.
Yeah, that's
Mary
people
Jo
need to know.
White. Mary Jo White, former SEC chairwoman.
Former SEC chairwoman's on
their team.
Yeah.
Former director of enforcement, a guy named Andrew Seresny, who was the director of enforcement, is their lead trial attorney.
This is Ripple's.
Yeah.
And they also have on their team former SEC person in charge of New York's office, and they actually have someone who used to be the director of corporation and finance on their team. Ripple has an all-star team as far as defending this case.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.